We were rolling?
Yeah, we rolling.
We're going?
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying, like, before we started recording, though, as a man, you go through life, when you step on your crank hard enough, you say, ouch, like, that hurt. I need to fix that because I don't want to have that happen again. Right? Like, in all seriousness, right? Like, if you zip up your zipper in your jeans and you catch yourself, you're like, ow, I got to undo this. I got to fix this and not do that again because it hurt. But most of the time, unfortunately, if it doesn't hurt enough, you just keep repeating the same mistake. And eventually, when the teacher becomes so big, you have no choice but to learn. But on the bright side, though, with great adversity comes great character growth. And when you have this big catastrophic event right in front of your eyes, you're going to grow a lot and you're going to become the man, or at least closer to becoming the man.
Why does it take so long?
Because 85% of people have to learn the hardest way. Think about this. You and I are driving down down low heat highway. We're going 150 kilometers an hour and 110. And when we take the corner, if we don't hit the tree, we're not going to learn. But that one time when we do hit the tree, we're going to say, dude, we can't do this anymore. We just about totaled the vehicle. We hit the tree. We almost died. Right? You only learn the hardest way most of the time. And it's difficult, though, right? Because, like, you have to change.
Especially with women. Because what I mean is, like, I always talk about this, like 6-7 years ago, I went through this really toxic thing, and I promised myself after that I would never put myself through that again. I really told myself, Mo, if you put yourself through that again, you are not a man. You're disappointing and letting yourself down. And I kind of did just put myself through that again just recently. And to me, after that, I'm thinking, why did I just go through that again? How did I not see the cards? How did I see the writings on the wall of it being an absolute disaster? And it just makes me think, like, what needs to happen for me to just buckle down and say, done. I don't care anymore. I'm done putting myself through that no matter what it is. Like, I feel like a lot of guys, I don't know. I mean, you can call me out and say, like, I'm soft.
Here's some good news, though, for you.
Yeah.
So you go through the mistake the first time. It'd be nice to learn. The teacher was there. You didn't, right? Again, happens the second time. It'd be even worse if you did it the third time. So the teacher's right here. Let's learn and let's say, okay, look at the board. What did I do wrong? What did I do well? And how can I make sure that this doesn't happen again? I can set myself up for success, which is one of the good things, though. Like, as a man, we are fixers, right? Like, we have a problem. Like, the TV breaks right here. We got to fix the TV, right? You and I have a problem. Let's sit down, let's table it, let's fix it. Like, we've always been fixers for as long as human time has existed, which is one of the things that works in your favor. But how do we remove the ego and say, okay, I did certain things that led to this relationship being in this format. I don't want to do that again. Attract that type of person. Something has to change. What is that? You can go in a million different directions, but ultimately you have to find that avenue.
Can you talk about the tattoo thing again? Because I have some questions about it still.
Well, why do you want me to talk about the tattoo thing?
Because, just from that clip, though, because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, okay, can't believe this man said.
I'll address the clip for it. First off, I should not have said that about the tattoos in public because, number one, the person you're dating, you should never, ever knock them down, and I own that. I own full responsibility.
Was it because of it was something physical on her that
it doesn't matter.
You called out on?
It doesn't matter. I should not have said that. So I own that to her. I said, listen, I should not have said that. I apologize. It will not happen again. We're going to move forward here. End of story. Should not have said that. Should never knock down the person you're dating and someone that you care about in public, especially when you're filming a video. So I own that. End of story.
And so why are you not a fan of tattoos? I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but...
Yeah, I was telling you in the elevator, I actually like tattoos. I think a woman with the right tattoos can be somewhat good looking. It depends on, who you ask. But the problem is when you start getting women with tattoos and sleeve tattoos, usually I found that tattoos are a form of body modification. And body modification usually comes from some form of anxiety or depression. And they usually go hand in hand depending on how many tattoos that they have. So if a woman has 2 full sleeve tattoos, she's telling you right then and there, I have anxiety, I have depression. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have that. But as a man, do I want to invite that into my life versus somebody who maybe doesn't have those traits? More than likely. So for those reasons, I'm only going to take women seriously that don't have those tattoos. Right? There was one female that I was talking to a while ago. She had, again, both tattoos, like sleeve tattoos. This is where this example is coming from. And I asked her, I said, do you have anxiety? She says, yes, absolutely crippling anxiety. I said, okay, that further proves my point. This is all like internal dialogue. I'm not verbalizing this to her, but this proves my point and that this isn't going to work. So I think we should just end things here. And then she got very upset. Like, why are you saying this? Why are my tattoos such a turnoff? Well, then I explained to her, and then she got very upset because of everything that I just outlined, which, again, I told her.
But could she be confident with tattoos?
Well, why does it matter what I say if she's truly confident?
No, what I'm saying is, like, could she be a confident woman but have tattoos as well? Because I don't think causation isn't correlation. I mean, I personally don't see like a woman that has a tattoo thinking, okay, well, she has anxiety and depression. I think it's just like, it could very well, but like, you're right. Like there is that subgroup of women that do modify their body and ink their body just for, self-confidence, insecurity issues, depression, anxiety. But again, devil's advocate, not all women, I think, get tattoos because of the anxiety and depression. I mean,
I didn't say that it was because of the anxiety or depression. I said that if they get the tattoos, 9 times out of 10, they have that crippling anxiety and or depression, right? Mm-hmm. And if they have that, I'm not going to pick that option because that's going to invite problems into my life, right?
Got you.
Again, like if a woman is getting like a full sleeve tattoo, that tells you everything you need to know. If it's like a little like hidden, like the date of her mother's birth date, like right behind her, or something really small, okay, not a problem. I'll make an exception to the rule. There are outliers to the rule, but just because there are exceptions doesn't disprove the rule. And again, I wouldn't want to welcome problems into my life based on that. Mm. So listen, some dudes love that. Some dudes love a tatted up woman. And hey, that's your demographic. For myself personally, I'm trying to find a woman who's a compliment to my life, is not going to be a distraction and not be the focus of it. And if I'm following, hey cutie, if I'm going to follow along with those guidelines, then that's not going to be on brand.
So how does a woman compliment your life? I want to know.
So not bringing unnecessary drama into your life, number one. I think that a woman falls in love doing things for you, not with you. So for example, if she comes over and she makes a pot of coffee, someone super small like that, like she's doing something to be a compliment to her man's life, that's how she falls in love with me. Being a compliment of, okay, listen, like you've had a hard day of work, whatever you're doing, you're coming home. I'm not going to bombard you with 1,000 problems. I'm going to say, listen, dinner's on the table, ready to go. I'm trying to make your life easier. And the same way that I would make life easier for her. We're going to plan a trip. Let's say, let's go to Banff. Let's go to Jasper. Let's go explore Malign Canyon and Malign Lake. Guess what? I planned out the whole itinerary. I booked the hotel. It's ready to go. You don't have to, where do you want to go? I don't know. It's already taken care of. I got it. Just hop in the car, book the days off of work, from work, and we're going to go and we're going to go have this fun time. Compliment to each other's life, right? Also, here's a great example of being compliment. So being a professional athlete, last summer, I wanted to go to Halifax for 3 weeks. I'm training with the goalie coach, and he was very connected over in Europe. He coaches in Germany. This is a great leveraging stick for my career because I only want to play in North America for so long. And so I said, listen, I'm going to go work with this guy for 3 weeks, see if we work together very well, and then maybe if we build some form of relationship and some rapport, maybe he can take me over with him from one of the teams that he's coaching in the future. Maybe a little bit of a pipe dream, but it's possible. The person I was dating at the time said, you can only go for 8 days. I can't have you gone for 21 days. This is my career, and this is how I'm bringing home the bread. This is in the best interest of my career, which is in the best interest of us. Because I think most women intrinsically, they want to be a wife, they want to be a mother, they want to have children. And if that's going to be the case, you have to focus and allocate time to that. And I have to have my career and everything in order to support that. So you tell me I can only spend 8 days instead of 21 days get training with this guy for the betterment of my career is not beneficial to the relationship. And now you're not being a compliment, you're being a distraction. You're requesting my time for the relationship, sacrificing my career, which is going to be beneficial to us having kids and a family later on. Again, we can kind of go down the rabbit hole on that, but that's just an example of.
So what you're saying is like she doesn't even understand the grand scope of things, in the sense that if she doesn't allow you to go on this trip and hopefully network and get that opportunity,
you're starting off with the wrong mind frame though. She's going to allow me to go on the trip because she's running the relationship. I'm the man. This is my career. I make the decisions on my career and the relationship, not you. So if I'm going to go to Halifax for 21 days to go work with this goalie coach for the betterment of my professional hockey career, which is going to serve us and our family in the future, it's going to happen. That's not up for discussion. But most men will allow that. They'll allow the woman to say, I only want you to go for 8 days.
How much push and pull is there? Like at what point, is there ever a moment where you say, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to go do that?
It
you know
depends on what it is. It totally depends on what it is.
Do you have an example? Because I think examples really create an image. When you talk about it, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, push and pull, cat and mouse, draw a line between what you can do. But then it's like, okay, well, what are the examples? What can we, like,
in regard to which?
Just in terms of just like the example you gave me in the car,
coffee?
the bath salt.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, like that's something that you were willing to do. But what are some things that you aren't willing to, like, no, I'm not going to go do that because it's just not happening. I mean, it's just too much of a burden.
Yeah, so I'll tell the bath salt story again. So the girl that I've been dating the last little bit, amazing woman, by the way. We were at her place, which she only has a shower, and then we're going to be driving to my place, which has a tub. And I just moved into my new place, and she says, well, I'd like to use the tub. I want to have, this nice, like, foo-fooey, like, bathtub, shower, bubble bath with salts, like stuff that chicks love to do. Cool, not a problem. You have all the fun you want in the tub because I don't take baths. So we're leaving from her place to my place, and about 5 minutes down the road, she says, I forgot the bath salts. And I said, do you need them? And she says, well... and before she even finished, I didn't even let her finish. I instantly turned the wheel around, so we're going to go back and get the bath salts because this isn't up for discussion because I, as the man and the leader of the ship, am going to save you from yourself, and we're going to go back and get the bath salts so that you can be happy and then we're going to have a good night. Because if you don't have those bath salts, you're going to be a little bit upset. And intrinsically, this is subconscious behavior. The fact that I wasn't decisive enough to say, she wants bath salts, we're only 5 minutes down the road, I don't know if I want to go back and get them. She's going to resent me for that, and it's slowly going to build, as opposed to just be a man, turn the car around, drive 5 minutes back and 5 minutes there, run and get the salts, and we're good, and we're golden. We're golden. I was telling you in the car, if we're doing a road trip from Vancouver to Banff and we get to Revelstoke and you're like, oh, I forgot the shampoo, it's fine. We'll stop at Save On Foods in Golden. We'll get some shampoo there. It's fine. Depends on the situation.
Right. Insert a guy in your position where he was in the same position of you driving and his lady forgot the bath salts and he was to tell you, I didn't turn around. I said, no, it's on you. You forgot the bath salts. It's because of your unawareness and your carelessness, and I don't want to turn around and waste more time to go get your bath salts. What would you tell that guy? Would you say you're being unreasonable?
I think you're looking too small picture. Because with the bath salts, here's a perfect example. You're only 5 minutes down the driveway. It's something so small. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like I don't mean to be rude. I don't care if she has the bath salts or not. There's a great example to showcase my leadership that I will save you from the outside world, including yourself, and be the true leader of this relationship that you needed me to be. Therefore, we're going to turn the vehicle around. I'm going to go in. I'm going to get the bath salts so that you can't forget them. And we're going to go and you're going to have this, foo-fooey bath salt, Epsom salt bath that you've been looking forward to having, this bubble bath. This is a perfect example to demonstrate.
Because it's directly going to impact you and how of a good night you're going to have. Because if she doesn't get her bath salts, she's going to be in a bad mood, which then means that you're going to be in a bad mood because there's just going to be a little bit of conflict and the mood's going to be low.
Perfect. I'll give you another example. And I told you this as we were walking into the place. 2 different women that I dated, took them both to Banff, 2 separate trips. Banff National Park, beautiful place, by the way. If you haven't had a chance to go, you should definitely go to Banff. I'm not paid by Parks Canada, but you should definitely go. A very beautiful spot, especially by the Cascade Mountains and Two Jack Lake. But both times were literally like carbon copies, 2 different trips. We're walking through downtown Banff. And when you're hiking, like when you're traveling, you're going for swims, right? Like you get hungry. It's just the way that it is. And realistically speaking, like as men, we can fast. I can fast till about like 4 or 5 p.m. No problem. But like women have to eat. They've always had to eat. Like they love to eat, right? If a woman doesn't have her breakfast at 9 and her lunch at 1 and her dinner at 5, like things are a little bit out of whack. And so both times they're acting a little bit snarky, a little bit snarly. And I ask, listen, is there anything that I can do to help you? Is there anything that I need to know? And then you get the, I'm fine. If you're not an experienced gentleman, you are going to fail the shit test right here. Because right now, even though she says that I'm fine, that is screaming, I need food. But you only get that if you've been experienced. So I'm going to turn the metaphorical ship around. We're going to walk down to that sushi restaurant for a buy one, get one in California rolls, and we're going to have some food. You're going to get some nutrition in your belly, and we're going to continue on with our day. And I'm going to save us.
It could be food, but it could also be a million different other things.
These are just 2 examples that come to mind. So,
but you know what I mean? That's when it gets tricky and dicey with a woman, is when most likely it's because they're hungry and hangry, but it could be a million different things where she remembered something you said 3 weeks ago about a girl that you used to see, or she remembered something she did at a coffee shop yesterday and some guy pissed her. Like that's where with women, for me.
But you have to be able to weather that storm. If she's talking about you,
it's tough when a woman cannot communicate and they're complete robotic. That's my biggest thing. For me,
I have a feeling you're talking about a personal story. So you can
it is a
give me
personal
a little bit
story.
Of context here.
Yeah. So in context, okay, I was seeing a woman. The context is that we went to a basketball game, a high school basketball game that I was coaching a bunch of the kids, and it was a really high stake game, finals of a tournament, and there was a lot of people in the crowd. Okay, yep. And visibly, I could see her being uncomfortable. Like she was a little bit overwhelmed. There's a lot of people. I'm saying hi to a lot of people because I coach a lot of the guys. I know a lot of people through the basketball community, and she's just kind of on my side, right? Like just like with me, right?
Yep.
And I could visibly see her being overwhelmed and just a little nervous and shy. I don't know what it was. And I kept asking her. I said, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you good?" But she wouldn't. She kept saying, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's all good. No, it's." she wasn't giving me anything, because I was genuinely trying to help her and understand what was going through her mind. And if we needed to step out for a bit for her to get a little bit of fresh air, I was willing to do that. But now what happens is, and this is a reflection of me and something I got to work on. I started overthinking. Oh, what the fuck? What is going on? Now I'm the issue. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Is this a bad date idea? Is she thinking me differently? Me saying hi to someone over there, you know, did she not like the fact that I didn't introduce her to the guy that I just said hi to? Like, all these scenarios are running through my head now. But it could be so much easier. Life could be so much easier if you could just vocalize what you're saying. Like, just be expressive, descriptive. Use as many adjectives as you want. But just don't just sit there and say, I'm okay. It's all good. And that's where I think that, and I don't want to generalize, but a lot of women have an issue of just vocalizing and really telling you how they really feel.
Sometimes you have to let them manifest, though, and think a little bit. So if she's just in the beginning process of manifesting these feelings, sometimes you're better off to just completely dismiss it and allow her to manifest those thoughts and stay with you, and then afterwards deal with it, as opposed to just like constantly trying to fix it in the moment. Because again, we as men, we are fixers. We have to fix it right now.
It falls back to that, yeah.
Right? On the spot. And that's just how we're programmed. And again, it's not a flaw or a bug, it's a feature, which can be used in the right context. But again, let's use our tools at the right time. Right? If I'm reshingling a roof, right, a wrench really isn't going to help me in this situation. I need an air nailer, I need a compressor, and I need some shingles and some nails. Right? So let's use the right tools for the right job. So allow her to maybe manifest those feelings, and then when we're done, we'll deal with the situation. And if she doesn't want to tell you the problem and she wants to like seek for attention, that's on her. And that again comes back to, that's not being a compliment, you're being a distraction, and you're adding chaos and problems to my life. And sweetheart, things are great, you're a wonderful woman, but if you're going to behave like that, you have to go. I can't have that type of behavior around me. I'm sorry. Like, this is just how it's going to be. And then she has the decision. You don't have to be, some big scary dude and lay down some big scary ultimatum and all this stuff. Just, this is what I will work with. This is what I can't. And if you can't comply with those requests, it's goodbye. You have to go. I'm sorry. But a lot of dudes don't want to do that. They don't want to put the law down and say, like, this is how it's going to be. I'm not going to tolerate that behavior. And then they allow this woman to come in their life and be a problem and be a distraction to it. And then fast forward 10 years, she's taking the kid, she's taking you for half. You're like, I don't know where this came from. Bro, it was right there in front of you. I saw it. I told you. You just didn't want to listen. You could totally avoid all these problems by being a lot more selective and being more attentive to the process. But again, if you don't have any experience in that, how are you going to know? You're not. The old saying, I don't know what I don't know. And if you don't know, you don't know.
What are some distractions that you've gone through that a lot of men, with women, and that a lot of men wouldn't notice as distractions unless you talk about it?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, that is a distraction. I never thought about it that way.
Those are things, only when you step on your crank with a steel toe boot do you realize it. I'll give you one example. So there's this one girl that I was dating here for about a year and a bit. And I was seeing her for probably about a month and a bit at the time. And I was about to head off for the season to Detroit, and I came over, and the first thing she said to me when I came over to her place was, you're leaving in a week and a bit. You like me a lot. We are going to go to the store. You're going to buy food, and you're going to cook me dinner. And on the spot, I didn't verbalize this, but this was like mental dialogue. I said, I'm not going to tolerate that type of behavior. So, right? I mean, like, who is going to tolerate a woman or anybody, period?
Why won't you?
Why won't I?
Yeah.
Because it's disrespectful. It's absolutely disrespectful that
the fact that you have to go, the actual act of you cooking, or the way she expressed it.
First of all, I love cooking, right? Like
Okay.
I can cook or bake anything. I do a great job. So I can totally understand why she would want me to do that, because I do a good job at it. It's the entitlement aspect of, you are going to do this because you like me and because you owe me something.
Got you.
I'd be more than happy to cook for you anytime. But if you're going to be entitled like that, it's not going to fly. So this is what I did. And I'll tell you where I went wrong here. So I went to the store and I purposely left my wallet at her place. So we go to the store, and she's putting in the ribeye steaks, the fancy, the all butter croissant, 100% butter croissants, the nice veg, the grass-fed butter. We're getting towards the checkout line, and I'm kind of like smirking because I know what's about to happen. And she looks at me. She said, why are you laughing? I said, you'll find out. She said, you forgot your wallet, didn't you? I said, yep. Instantly, on the spot, everything got put back to where it was: frozen chicken breast, pre-made pasta sauce, dried herbs, cheapest dinner she could buy, and then she paid for it. Now, right there, I, on the spot, had the ability to, again, not maybe at the store, but when we got back home, and say, listen, that behavior is unacceptable. You're acting entitled, which is not going to fly here. You're acting like a spoiled brat. You put all the expensive things in when I was going to buy, and then you put the cheap things in when you're buying. That also doesn't fly. But instead, I said, well, maybe I can work on it. It's not that big a deal. I guess she kind of got the message, and maybe cut your losses, dog. But again, that was one sign that, again, I saw at the very end of the relationship where I could have totally avoided the problem myself right there on the spot. But again, I stepped on my crank with the steel toe boots. Maybe I even air nailed it a little bit. And now we have to learn. I have to fix the problem.
How did you get to the point of no bullshit policy? Seriously, how did you get to it? Because a lot of guys like to talk about it. Yeah, I don't put up with that shit.
Dude, it's hard, man.
Seriously, how? Like it's a skill. It's a real mental cognitive muscle.
Well, so it's a subconscious effort. Like, we love beautiful women, right? Like, you see a beautiful woman walk in the door right now. What's the first thing we say? Wow, I'd love to take her on a date, right?
Yeah.
Right. Same thing when a woman sees an attractive man who's successful. He's got a 600 horsepower car, all well put together. Like, wow, I'd love to go on a date with him. I'd love to, have that be my man. Same thing. It's just what we're drawn to. And it's not a bug. It's a feature. When you have limited options, you're going to tolerate more stuff. If you have lots of options, you're not going to put up with much. Right? If I don't have the ability in business to walk away from a deal, I have no negotiating power. Think about this. If you're dating a chick and no matter what you did, she was going to stay with you, think of all the shit you would do, right? You could cheat on her as much as you want. You could drain her bank account. You could do all these things and she never left you. You'd test the waters a little bit. But if there's a hard line in the sand, you're probably like, oh, well, I'm not going to test them. But again, women, they want to test you because that's intrinsic. They want to know they're with a strong, virtuous man. They will test you. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And so when you have options, again, you're going to put up with less stuff. But how do you get to the point where you have more options? Well, you have to level things up. You have to put yourself together. You have to be well-groomed. You have to be captivating. You have to be interesting. The old saying, you can do anything to a woman, but just don't bore her. Right? Like, what are you going to do on a date with a chick? Well, I go to the gym. Well, it's not a date. That's not exciting. Like, are you funny? Like, what do you do? Like, do you go hiking? I like to go mountain climbing. I like to go jet skiing. I play guitar. I cook. I bake. But you should check out my my Boston cream donuts. I make the best donuts of all time. I make the best croissants. I make a wicked chicken parmesan. My breakfast in bed, my pour over coffee. You're gonna love it. Captivating, being interesting. That's gonna open up some more options. Being somewhat different. Right? Like, a lot of men are in a more emotional state these days. So not being emotional all the time, because women can say they want an emotionally intelligent man or a vulnerable man. You ever cried in front of a woman? Be honest with me.
You want me to be honest?
I'll be honest with you. You ever cried in front of a woman?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Not too well after.
Right?
No.
Right? They say, I want a man who's going to cry in front of me and be emotionally vulnerable. Anytime I have ever cried in front of a woman, it has gone horrible. It is probably the worst thing I ever did in the relationship, because I'll tell you why. They can sniff the weakness on you a mile away. So they can say they want an emotionally intelligent man, an emotional man who's in touch with his feelings. It's a shit test. You're going to fail. They do not want a man who's going to be crying all the time. The only time as a man it is acceptable to cry is death and love. You have a kid, your firstborn child, secondborn, whatever, or your mother, your father die, or somebody really important dies. Those are the only times that I think are acceptable to cry as a man in front of other people. You can cry on the inside, but do not ever do that in front of your woman, because she is going to be so repulsed knowing that she has a weak man in front of him.
No matter how long you guys have been together.
Doesn't matter. So
you stand on that. Like, you're digging your heels into that.
And I'll tell you why. And a lot of men will do this, and I'm saying this because I've done this myself, and it doesn't work. Relationship ends, right? You're together a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, what? It doesn't really matter. Relationship ends. She has some bone to pick about why the relationship doesn't work. It doesn't matter. We'll just put it in this box. Here's the rabbit hole. We'll leave it there. We'll come back to it in a second. Just park it there. The relationship ends. The man gets desperate because it's the best option that he can do, or at least that he thinks that he can do, because he doesn't have any other options, because he's not well put together enough to say, you know what, you can leave. I'll find somebody better. It might take a little bit, but I'll find somebody better, and I'll find a better replacement. Instead, they get weak and they start crying, baby, I'll change. Baby, I'll do this. Baby, I'll do that. And although it's because we're logical, right? Women are emotional. Oh, this will work. I'm going to fix the problem. Again, I'm a fixer. I'll change for you. Women don't want you to change for them. If you walk away and you leave that phone dangling off the hook and say, that's it, see you later. You decided to end the relationship, door's locked, you're not coming back in. The train has left the station and is not coming back. They say, that is so odd. I must be missing something. He didn't simp and start getting weak and start crying for me and begging, baby, I love you. Baby, I'll do anything for you. I must be the problem. And it's an intrinsic thing. It's a subconscious thing. They're not verbalizing this or thinking this out loud, but they're thinking, why is he just walking away? Why is he confident? I must have missed something, right? That's the only way really to fix a relationship. Getting weak and starting crying in front of your girl is not going to work ever. ever has it ever worked. Show me one guy that says, oh, I cried in front of my chick and she loved it. I'll show you a liar on the spot. That dude's lying because it did not work or endear himself ever to that woman. Period.
I co-sign to that. I do.
It's weakness. And there's going to be a lot of people that are saying, oh, that's toxic. It's okay to cry. No, it's not. Birth of a child, death of an important family member. The only acceptable times to cry in front of other people in public. Like if my dad dies, I love my dad with all my heart, but I will cry at his funeral. My mom dies, I will cry at her funeral. I will be heartbroken and upset. I would assume, again, I don't have any kids, but the day that I have my first son and or daughter, I will cry. Only times that are acceptable.
One thing I will say though, man, it's tough for a guy out here. It really is.
It is.
Like the women have unrealistic expectations for men. They really do. I mean, we talked about it.
You want to know why? Because we've allowed them to get away with that. When you allow a woman to get away with that behavior, now she's thinking that she's better than you. And that's going to continue because women's standards only go up. They don't go down. So all these men that are allowing these women to act like this, you're contributing to the problem. And yes, it is men's fault. All this comes back to men's fault. Like you have an absent father who's more of a piece of furniture than an actual masculine role model. She gets down this train track of acting like this. And then she goes and meets men that are going to enable her to behave like this. You see the story building. And it's sad because she's going to end up probably not with the person she wants. I don't think some of them will end up alone. I don't think most will, but they're not going to get the person they want. They're not going to be happy in the end.
So let's break that down. So when you say they had a father that was a piece of furniture, does that mean that the father was just a pushover?
It could be.
And an ATM?
It could be. So the father being a piece of furniture, so you're physically here, but you're not actually checking in the game. It's like sitting on the bench for a game, but not actually playing. And trust me, I know a thing or two about that. I've made a career out of it. But to be a good father, you have to be a good masculine role model. You have to demonstrate this is what a good man is, not a pushover, not allowing the woman to run the relationship and tell you how it's going to be. Again, and I don't like the word compromise, because compromise in the military would be we've just compromised the mission. We can't obtain it. We have to collaborate. We have to work together on certain things. But you have to demonstrate good leadership. This is what a good man looks like. And if, again, the saying that I just told you, I don't know what I don't know, if the female has not seen that, she doesn't know what she doesn't know. And if she doesn't know what a good man looks like, why is she going to respect you when a good man shows up? She has no idea what that looks like. Period. She has no clue what that looks like. And then she goes on the rabbit hole of this toxic feminism and too much time on TikTok where that's a controlling man. Well, of course she's going to think you're controlling and doesn't respect you because she's never seen what an actual virtuous leadership, a man who leads, looks like. Period.
So again, a father that hasn't been there, just kind of just checked out, space cadet type guy. A woman sees that and says, a man should be that. That is what a man is. Someone that is a pushover, enabler, someone that can run over with an ATM truck.
With the bricks.
With the bricks.
Or brinks, sorry.
Yeah. So that's what you're kind of getting to. Like, there's no leadership. There's no leadership figure in that woman's life to teach her that this is what you are really trying to look for. That's what you're trying to.
Yeah. So the ultimate male role model in the masculine leadership in a woman's life is her father. That's the ultimate male figure in her life.
And you said you always ask.
I always ask, and we can get to that in a second. I always ask a woman about her father and her relationship with him, which again we'll get to in a second. But for example, if the father doesn't give her validation, time, and attention. So for example, let's say she's playing soccer. Well, guess what? Now I'm the biggest soccer fan in the world. It's my job to go to my daughter's soccer and to be there and to support her, make her feel loved, and make her feel nurtured. Because if she doesn't know what it's like to be loved. And so how is she going to be successful to trying to find a man and also understanding what that looks like when she's seeking that process? Also showcasing her, this is what leadership is of, okay, this is how things operate. This is what is acceptable. This is not what's acceptable. And also I have to build an environment in that relationship where she can trust me. If I don't create a safe space for her, she's never going to trust me. So there's multiple avenues, multiple trains kind of coming down the same track at the same time that have to come together to create that environment. I'm not perfect. You're not. Nobody is. But the closer you can get to that, the better off she's going to be. And so to bring it back, when you have a woman who's saying, I don't need a man, you're controlling, she doesn't know what an actual positive masculine leader looks like in her life. So again, why would she respect you? And again, that's totally okay. That doesn't work for me. The door is there. I don't work with this. And I'm going to find somebody who does, because that's going to invite chaos in my life. The other option is not going to. And if you always ask a woman, this is such a great dating tactic. Just ask, you can be on a coffee date. What's your dad like? What's your relationship with him like? Tell me about your family. What was it like growing up? You know that Vine? It's like, tell me about your life as a youngster. It's so true. Tell me about them. And 9 times out of 10, they will sing like a canary and tell you everything you need to know. And okay, this is going to work, or this is not going to work. If she speaks very highly of her father, it's a good sign. And the reason why I say this, every relationship that I've ever had that has ended, how they describe their dad in the beginning is the light that they reflect back on me at the very end of the relationship. So 2 women that I dated, carbon copies, because I didn't learn the first time, so I really had to learn the second time. My dad made me feel valueless as a child. He never gave me attention. He was never there for me. He was a POS. And he was only good for being an ATM. If I need money or if I need something, maybe I need him to change my tires or, put some gas in my truck or, whatever. I don't know if a chick's driving a truck, but anyway. Fast forward to our relationship. At the end, that's exactly the light that I'm being shone in. So she's going to repeat those cycles from her childhood to you as the man in the relationship at the end. So when she tells you that, again, when people tell you who they are, believe them because they're not lying. Or when they show you who they are, believe them because they're not lying. And make the decisions accordingly. You can welcome those problems in your life. I choose not to because I don't want to have chaos in my life. I've had enough of that where I've stepped on my crank enough times where I'm not going to welcome that type of female into my life, period. And if you can keep the wrong women out and the wrong people out for a long enough period of time, you'll have space for the right to come in. It's going to take some time, but they will come in eventually if you can keep the other ones at bay for a period of time long enough.
And you were willing to see that and just cut that off right away. You weren't sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm going to try and change her and help her." Sometimes you can't save her.
That's when dudes get into problems. I'm going to fix her. People don't change unless an absolutely catastrophic traumatic event happens. That's the only time people change.
That's the thing I was going to ask you. Like, is there any way that woman you were seeing would ever change?
No. She's not going to listen to me because she doesn't respect masculine leadership. So
what would it take for her to change? I mean, it's not. I mean, you don't
have
know.
A different upbringing.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like if
it really just comes down to that.
Because here's the thing.
It's set in stone.
So from the ages of birth until 2, you learn how to be a human. You learn how to breathe and how to just do like normal functional things. From the ages of 2 to 12, you learn all the habits that you're going to instill as an adult. And then from 12 until 18, you just hammer the nail home and that's solidified. So let's say she's 25 and she realizes that this was her childhood habits. She's watching this beautiful podcast and she says, I have to change something. Now you have to undo 25 years of work, where especially between 12 and 18 are the most incredible, most important developmental years in her life, where she's going to hammer those behaviors down, men and women. So now you have to undo that. Think about that for a sec. She's done it for 25 years. You're going to undo this in 6 months? You're out of your mind if you think you're going to fix that. So you're better off to just pick somebody who's had a better upbringing and a better childhood, instead of trying to fix the problems. Because again, as men, we're fixers. So instead of trying to fix her, why don't we fix ourselves? Way better. You have total control over this, and fix my recruiting process to try to find somebody who's not going to welcome those problems into my life. And again, it's so sad, and it comes back to men, right? These fathers are the reason why these women turn out this way. And I feel bad for them. I really do. But I can't fix you. And ultimately, you can only fix yourself. 9 times out of 10, I don't think that they want to. They'd rather just like table their problems and then talk about them on a girls' night and say, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me. But it's unfortunate, but I'm not going to welcome that into my life.
It just seems like it's impossible to find the one, a good one then. I mean,
how many people are in this planet right now, walking the earth right now?
8 billion.
How many are women?
4.
You think you can't find another one like that? 4 billion? That's a scarcity mindset.
I mean, my thing is though, everyone has their issues in their upbringing process.
Hold on for a second. Let me answer your equation there. Yeah. So you think that there's 4 billion women on this planet and you can't find one that fits your criteria. The way that you find that is you level yourself up and get yourself up to a point where you're wanted and desired by these women, where you can start being picky. Because if you're overweight, not in good shape, you don't really have a lot of things going for you, you're not captivating, you're not funny, you're not interesting, and you're not cool, you're not going to have any options. You have to get yourself to the point where you have options and you can start picking and choosing. I'm not going to deal with this stuff, and I'm going to welcome the right woman into my life. And I'm not going to make my life chaotic. But that takes work and that takes time.
Do you believe a woman when they say they don't care about money?
No, they absolutely do care about money. It's a lie. Bullshit.
Complete bullshit.
Absolutely.
I kind of understand. I kind of get where you're going to go with it. I mean, it does make sense, but I don't know. I mean,
I'll boil it down to this, okay? It's great that we have, beautiful podcasts and beautiful buildings and Instagram and all this cool stuff, nice shoes, nice cats and cat food and wine nights and all of this great stuff. It's fantastic. But we've been keeping track of time for 2,000 years. We've had society for maybe 5,000 or 6,000. It's literally like the tip of my fingernail is that period of time compared to the rest of my arm being human existence. So we are, whether we want to admit it or not, you and I are still intrinsically wired like cavemen, and women are wired like cave ladies. I don't know if that's the proper term, but we're still wired like that. So women are wired to want to find a protector and a provider. So any woman that says they don't care about money is lying, because they do care, because they want a man who's virtuous, right? If I asked you right now, would you date a girl that works at McDonald's? What's your answer?
I would say yeah. If she's
Why?
She's attractive, and
What does she look like? That's why. Like? You ask a female, would you date?
And that's the cold hard truth, because people are going to look at this and be like, "Wow, Mo, really? You said that?" But it is true.
Let me answer this: who's more shallow, you for wanting to date a beautiful woman, or her for wanting you for money and resources? Who's more shallow? I'm attracted to beautiful women. She's attracted to dudes that have their life put together.
Effectively, it's the equivalent.
Right?
Yeah.
I want a beautiful woman. She wants a dude with his life put together. It's not a flaw. It's a feature. So the sooner that we embrace that, the sooner we can get closer towards our goal in achieving that.
I mean, it's a lot of things that I did believe and I subscribed to for a long time. But I'm kind of at the point, man, where I'm just kind of like, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck about. I don't really care if a woman doesn't like me because I don't make as much money as the next guy or X, Y, and Z.
Well, you should, though, because if you can get yourself into that category, you're going to have more choices, more options, and then you can be more picky, and then you can reject women that behave the way that you just mentioned with her throwing a fit at the basketball game, and you can start welcoming in women that are not going to do that, because those women are in high demand. Like right now, hot women are in no short supply. Go on Instagram, search up hot chicks Vancouver. You'll find no shortage of them. Can you find a nurturing woman who's got her life kind of put together and is an actual complement to your life? It's going to be harder to find. So you have to put yourself in a higher category, upgrade yourself, and then you can be more picky about that. And until you do that, you're going to be stuck with those chicks that are causing problems at a high school basketball game. or throwing. I know it's kind of funny, but it's true.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, at a certain point, it just gets exhausting, dude. I am working on myself. I am ambitious. I am virtuous. I am doing things that are going to better myself. But I mean, and I know I'm doing that, and that's okay with me. And if a woman doesn't want me because of that, then it is what it is. I mean, I'm just kind of gone in this mindset of, all right, well, oh, you're leaving me for a Canucks player? Okay, well, I know I'm better. I know I'm better than that guy. I mean, deep down, you really just got to like force yourself to believe that. Okay, well, you're leaving me for someone that's.
Can I invert your whole recruiting process here? You're looking at it from the ego side of, well, I'm better than him because I think X, Y, and Z.
Not even.
Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
So I've described to you my ideal woman. Beautiful woman, complement to my life, nurturing, feminine. That's the woman I want. Now, what does that woman want from a man? Because I have to make myself that. Instead of being like, how do I make myself better? How do I make myself the man she wants so that I'm the one that's going to be attracting her? You see where I'm going with that? Right? Like what is she looking for? If I can be that, she's going to be attracted to me. Right. If she's that, I'm attracted to her. We're a match made in heaven. And now it's just a matter of time before we cross paths at the right time, and I find that person that I'm looking for.
But you could be that guy and still not be good enough for that woman. And then I'm saying when it comes to that, it's like I did everything I could. Whatever. You go do you. We go our separate ways. I don't care. You missed out. Like I'm not declining what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. It's just at a certain point, because most women won't be able to see that you are providing all these things for them. Like, here's the thing. I'm going to ask you this. The woman you're with, if she leaves you for an NBA basketball player, how are you going to take it?
It sucks, but I got some things to work on then. Like, she was the winner.
If she was able
let's
be honest here,
if
right?
She was actually able to date an NBA player, like actual long-term relationship, not like a short-term thing, an actual long-term relationship, she was better than me. Therefore, I have some work to do.
Are you telling yourself that you understand why she left you? Because it is a person that is an NBA basketball player. They're famous. They make millions and millions of dollars. They're 6'7", jacked, very good at basketball, all these things. Like, you're willing to say, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for her to leave and go be with this guy. Is that what you're saying? Are you?
Well, yeah, okay. So
because you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, at a certain point, it's like, all right, well, LeBron James is in a place, makes more money than me. He's more famous. He's 6'8", probably absolutely has a hog on him.
Well, okay, let's
like, you know what I mean? Like, if a woman was to leave me and go to LeBron James, I would really have to convince myself she missed out.
Well, how do you do that? You level yourself up and you add value to yourself, right? That's the only way you're going to end up making her regretting that. Maybe let's be honest, like, some women are dickheads. Maybe she's a dickhead and she decided that she was going to be with this basketball player, this guy playing for the Canucks or the Cowboys or whoever, right? Like, some women are just dickheads. It's just the way that it is. But you have full control over yourself. And if she's going to leave you, okay, great. Well, now here's an amazing opportunity. I'm a fixer, right? You're a fixer. We're men. That's how we are. I'm going to fix myself and put myself in a higher category so that I can upgrade and get a better quality female moving forward. Because this is the scariest but the most beautiful thing about being a man. You're born with absolutely zero value. You have to make that. So you have to create that and go up, right? Why do you see 35, 40-year-old, sometimes even like 50-year-old dudes dating 20-year-old women? Because they're very successful. They've built that value. But on the inverse, with women, it kind of goes the opposite way. Where like they're beautiful at 23, 24, 25, and that value kind of declines over time because their value is linked to how beautiful they are. It's just how it is. Men are success objects, women are beauty objects. It's just the way that we work. We talked about the McDonald's analogy. Oh, I'll date her, she's beautiful. Well, I won't date him because he's working at McDonald's, right? Playing within those confines. And it sucks, but you ultimately have control over yourself. I do as well. It sucks. It's hard to take a look in the mirror and say, I got some things that I can work on. I'm working on things. You can always work on things. There's always room to get better. But when you do that, when you get to the top of the mountain or closer to it, at least close to the summit, man, you're going to be happy you did the work. Because I try to remove my ego from it and say, okay, me sitting here right now in the spring, summer of 2024, what would me in the spring, summer of 2025 say? How can I make that guy proud? Right? Then that completely removes the ego from it. And the personal, like you personally attacking yourself from that makes it a little bit easier to kind of move forward with that, I think.
How did you get to these things that you're saying? Because I think it's a lot of heartbreak.
You get heartbroken, you get crushed by a chick, just shatters your whole world, and then you have no choice but to self-reflect and say, well, that didn't work. Stepped on my crank. That really, really, really hurt. And we have to fix something. Something has to change. Because this clearly is not working. Right?
Did you make the decision that you're never going to go through that pain again? Is that what it is? The pain was so visceral that you're telling yourself, Travis, I am never letting you go through that again. Because I think there's a bridge that men need to go through.
That's a victim mindset, though. Because you're coming at it from the effect side of things of she did this to me instead of she did this for me, right? So I'll use that relationship for example. This woman, I pedestalized her for a year. I made every mistake you possibly could, and she absolutely crushed me at the end. That is 100% my fault. I saw all the problems at the beginning. I chose to ignore them, and now those same problems in the beginning are ending the relationship here because I was a dickhead and chose to ignore them and not deal with them and squash them on the spot. So let's take some accountability. It happened for me. This is a God-given opportunity that I'm very thankful for. And now I have all this adversity and this heartbreak and this endless energy that I can turn into something, right? Think of it of a dude who's crushed and heartbroken, right? You've been heartbroken.
Of course.
You can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't think. You go,
shambles, dude.
Right? You go to work. Your mind is anywhere but work. There's an amazing opportunity to take that energy and take that hate and take that energy and put it somewhere else. Well, guess what? Now I can't sleep. Start going to the gym now. I got 8 hours to use now to go to the gym. We start working out, try to look in better shape. Oh, I got more time to look up meal prep recipes so that I'm not looking like a fat slob and I can lose some weight and I look like I'm in good shape, right? There's a great opportunity there. Oh, well, I still have a couple more hours since I can't sleep, so I guess I can kind of work on a side hustle and get my business to look a bit better. Well, what if I dress myself better too? I look somewhat stylish. Maybe I cut my hair. I get rid of the mullet. I had a mullet a year ago. That's why I say that, by the way.
I saw that photo. It's a good look, man. It is a look.
We can come back to the mullet in a bit. That's never coming back, but I can get rid of the mullet. Right? Maybe I can grow my beard out a little bit more groomed, right? Because a well-groomed beard shows that I groom myself. And if I groom myself and I take care of my beard, what else do I take care of? I take care of myself personally. I take care of my hygiene. I take care of my business. I take care of my woman. I'm going to attract a certain type of person. Here's this endless energy and endless opportunity to make the best of yourself you've ever made. Again, huge adversity. The bigger the adversity, the bigger the growth. But you make that choice, though. You get to choose if you're going to take on that adversity and build off it, or you can become a victim and say, well, she did this to me and she left me and it sucks, but I think I'm better in this way. I want to upgrade. There's a great opportunity. I love challenges. Like I did a personality test about 6 months ago, and I'm very fueled by achievement. So I'll tell you a story. So when I was in grade 5, I remember one of my teachers telling me, you never seem like you're happy with anything. You don't have happiness when like we have like an indoor recess time or something. And she was comparing the female happiness to male happiness, which is not the same thing. I'm happy when I accomplish stuff. So when I'm training in the summer for an upcoming season of hockey, I feel like I accomplished something and I've achieved something. I've gotten myself in better shape. I'm a better athlete. I'm a better man. I'm a better goalie. That's an achievement. When I can make my woman happy, when I give her joy, that's an achievement. Now I'm happy, right? If I'm going to level myself up to find a better quality partner and a better I shouldn't have used that word. I hate that word partner. A better quality female, that's an achievement in and of itself. When I make my mom's day on Mother's Day and I give her like a nice staycation or I give her a nice birthday card, let her know that I care about her, I achieve something. I'm very achievement focused. So maybe it's different for you, but that opportunity right there to achieve growth and achieve character development out of that adversity, I'm all for it. It sucks in the moment. It's hard. Again, like you said, you get heartbroken. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't drink. You can't do anything outside of like that hurt, that overwhelming hurt. But again, that's an amazing opportunity. Can't sleep. Might as well do other things with it.
Does a guy need to go through that hurt to transform?
Yes.
There's no other ways around it.
You can't be a good man unless you go through shit. You got to go through tough shit to be a good man. You absolutely have to. You may not realize in the moment, but afterwards when you look back, you're like, I'm glad she did that.
Makes sense.
She did that for me. I was gifted that. It's an amazing opportunity that she gave me. And she is my divine teacher and taught me these things. I would never tell her to her face that I'm thankful because that would give her validation and attention, which we don't want to give for free. But I'm very, very thankful for that.
What are issues with men and women and dating in Vancouver? Mostly women. What do you see?
Vancouver's different. It's a lot different than like in Winnipeg, where I'm born and raised. A little more conservative in Winnipeg, a lot more liberal over here. But it's, again, there's a great opportunity to refine my dating process to keep the wrong women out so that the right women can come in at the right time. Again, you keep the wrong people out for long enough, the right ones will come in. They will trickle in eventually, like water. Water finds a way. Look at the Titanic.
And what you said in the car was interesting. Is that you don't look for what you want. You look for what you really don't want. Right? Is that kind of the approach you take?
Yes, because when you start looking for what you want, you're going to start pedestalizing a woman, and now you're in a scarcity mindset, and now you have this woman where you think like she's the one, which does not exist. Again, you got 4 billion people. You can't find me. You can't tell me you can't find somebody that looks like her and acts like her. Of course. Now you have the one, and you're going to do all this simping, ridiculous behavior to try to maintain the relationship. When again, you could have just been a man in the first place and say, listen, this is what I will tolerate. This is what I won't. Again, you don't have to be some big scary dickhead. Just this is the guidelines, and it's comply or goodbye. And then you don't welcome these unnecessary problems and this chaos and this heartbreak in your life, which again, listen, honestly, I'm happy that I've had heartbreak because great growth has come from it, but I have things to do. I don't want to have heartbreak all the time. Maybe like once a year, but not every like 2 months.
And you would say there's a line between being that big, scary, aggro guy and being a confident man.
Well, let's look at the end result you want to get. If I'm this big, scary caveman, I'm yelling at my woman and all this, that's not going to be good for anybody. But like, what's in the best interest of us? Well, I need to communicate my point effectively. And how do I communicate it? Listen, honey, this is what I can deal with and this is what I won't. This is what I saw. What do you think? And then she can make the decision. I've laid it all on the table. I've tabled all the options. You can decide right there what does and doesn't work for you. And then you can leave. And then again, I'm going to save us because I'm wasting your time being with me because I don't want to be with you. And you're wasting my time because that doesn't work for me. So again, I'll save us. I'll let you go. You'll find somebody who that does work for. Doesn't work for me, and everybody makes off happy.
And there's absolutely no compromise in those things that you say, this is how I want it. This is what I can deal with. This is what I can handle. And if you can't comply, goodbye. There's absolutely no negotiation or wiggle room.
Compromise, no. Collaboration, yes. Compromise means we can't, like neither of us can compromise.
Can you give an example of collaboration?
Sure. So
something. Yeah.
Sure. So for example, let's say she has like dietary restrictions and I say, well, I only eat red meat. Well, now you're just being an asshole. Like, I'll have the steak, you have the fish. Problem solved. Let's collaborate. Let's make this a win-win. Let's just say you and I are dating. I know we're not, but let's just say we're going on a road trip to Jasper. All right. You want to stop and you want to camp in Mount Robson. That works for me. I like camping. You want to stop at Mount Robson? Cool. Not a problem. We'll get a tent. We'll pitch it. I'll get some bear spray. Again, I'll save us from the outside world. And we'll carry on and we'll make our way to Jasper and check out Malign Lake and Malign Canyon and Lake Edith and all these great spots. We good? Those types of stuff. But I'm laughing out of a place of uncomfortability because I've lived it. But dealing with like the behaviors that I talked about where like she can't respect masculine leadership and she can't allow you to lead, that just doesn't work. There's no wiggle room on this.
Do you think all women deep down want a man that leads, even though they say they're strong and independent women that don't need that leadership?
Because they never had it. And again, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know what that's actually like, of course you're not gonna want to do it, right? Think of some of the foods that you've tried in your life where you've just like, oh, I don't like tuna sandwiches. Well, why? Well, it's gross. Have you tried it? No. Well, you don't know what you don't know. It sounds gross. You've heard that it's gross. Until you've actually tried it, you can't actually have an opinion on it. So if she doesn't know what true masculine leadership is, how is she ever going to respect it or know what that looks like?
Which is a father figure.
Bingo.
Essentially.
Comes right back to that. Which again, as the man in the relationship, it is that much more important to be the ultimate leader and the masculine role model for both your woman and for your kids, because you play the role in setting her up for that failure or success later on in life. It's men's fault. I know some people might be surprised to hear me say that, but it's a man's fault.
What do you think about women going out all the time? Love to go out every weekend, party, get drunk, be with her girlies, get absolutely hammered, and...
So this is how I operate on that type of stuff. If you want to go for girls' nights, do it. You want to go to the Yale on a Saturday night, do it. You want to go to the Roxy, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to be controlling. You do whatever you want. If you do certain things, your shit will be packed and the doors will be locked when you come back. And then you allow her to make the choice. Again, you don't have to be some big scary dickhead and controlling. This is what does work and this is what doesn't. If you do that, I'm not messing around. Your stuff will be packed and you will not be coming back anytime soon. The door does not get unlocked.
What are those certain things?
Well, if she's drinking so I personally don't drink at all. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in my body for over 6 years. I don't care if my woman drinks, but if it's a problem, there's the line. If you cross it, you have to go. End of story. If she's going out to the clubs, also...
What does that say to you if a woman says they want to go out every weekend?
You're for somebody else and not for me. Because why is she going out to the clubs? And she'll hit you with this virtuous stuff of, well, I'm just going to hang out with my girlies and we're just going to go have some fun.
Make some memories.
Well,
all that.
Okay, why are you doing your makeup up? Why are you doing your hair up? Why do you have a push-up bra on? Why do you have that skimpy outfit on? Why are you going to a place where a lot of single men are and other single women are? So now we've set those parameters as a self-respecting man. Who, again, you have to have options to do this. If you don't have any options, you can't do shit. She ain't going to listen to you. If you have options, you'll say, that doesn't work for me. You're not doing that. You can do that, but you will not be with me when you come back. And then let her make the choice. Let her feel empowered to do what she wants, and she can decide, and she'll tell you through her actions, not her words, how she sees the relationship. Because if she does it, it was only a matter of time before she did the other stuff you didn't want either. And you can just set the boundary and set the standard right then and there. This is the line. Cross it, and you're gone. Play within the boundaries, and you're fine. I hate the word boundaries because it's such like a TikTok buzzword by these women who are looking for like emotional intelligence. The parameter. Set the parameter, end of story.
And that goes back to men enabling them by saying, oh, okay, well, you can go out, but...
Think about this for a second. If I'm dating a girl and we're married for like 10, 12 years or whatever, and on day 1, year 15, I come down and I say, you're not going out for girls' nights anymore. What is she going to say?
Kick rocks.
Basically, pound sand. Who are you? Because you didn't set that standard in the first place, right? The standard has been set, and women don't go down. They only go up. So you've set the standard where she can go out for girls' nights, and you're telling her year 15, day 1, this doesn't work for me anymore. Well, she ain't going to listen. I don't blame her. I wouldn't either. So set the standard in the beginning. There's the parameter. And then we can set things up for success. And as a man, it's your fault. If that's the situation you're in, that's your fault. You created that environment. You have the ability to decipher through those problems what you will and what you won't compromise and what you won't put up with.
Would you tell a guy that doesn't have that many options, that is coming from a scarcity mindset, if the woman that they are seeing is doing things that upset him and, just make him uncomfortable? Like, for example, going out every weekend. Like if I'm a guy that is in a scarcity mindset and my woman is going out every weekend and I'm not a fan of that, it's still better to just cut it off even though I have no other options. Like, you would say, dude, even though you don't have any options and you don't have that leverage of just saying, well, okay, you can do whatever you want, I have 5, 6 other options, it is still a better idea to just cut it off.
Well, here's the deal. If you don't have options and you do that, now you're heading for that catastrophic traumatic event that I just talked about. And if you can find a way to don't ever contact her again, work through that and level yourself up, man, you will shock her. She'll be like, what just happened with Mo? This dude cut his hair. He's jacked. He's got 6 figures in the bank, making 7 figures a year, got a 600 horsepower car. He's got all these beautiful women around him. I think I might be the problem. I messed up. I missed the boat. You're right, baby. You did. The boat ain't coming back. Like, you will shock her if you do that. But again, you have to go through that adversity to have that character growth. And if you don't, you're never going to have any options. It's tough, dude. I've done it. It is a hard look in the mirror, but I would recommend every guy does that. It's going to hit you one way or another, and you choose how you want to be hit with it. You can learn the hardest way or the hard way.
Do you think it's getting worse with guys? Do you think guys are becoming softer in that sense?
Yes, absolutely. Because society is programming women to act a certain way and programming men to act a certain way. Sit around, smoke weed all day, play video games, get in touch with your feminine side, show your emotions, cry in front of your girl. And then the women see that, And they're being empowered to act in their masculine, more masculine mind frame and their energy, and they're running the relationship and telling you how it's going to be. And I don't need no man. I need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Honestly, I would act like that too if those are the parameters that I was working with. You can't blame them. They're being led by men to act like that. So as a man, it's that much more.
We got emotions though, man. I mean, I got emotions. You got emotions.
Yeah, but guess what? You have emotions. You have to disregard how you feel sometimes and get shit done that needs to be done. Like this morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. I had a cold shower first thing. I don't want to do that, but shit has to get done. I don't want to go to the gym. Shit has to get done. This podcast, you asked me to do it. I didn't feel like doing the podcast this morning. Guess what? Make a cup of coffee. Has to get done. I'm a man of my word. I said I was going to do it. I don't feel like it. Forget about that. I'm going to get it done. And that's what separates the winners from the losers. You can get shit done, or you can just be a forever victim. Like, I don't care. It's your problem, not mine.
And doing all those things, if a woman is still willing to leave you, you will be able to live with that, knowing that you are doing what you need to be doing. And if a woman can't see that and they leave, you're okay with that.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to appeal to everybody, right? Like, I'm realistically trying to appeal to maybe 5%, 3 to 5% of all the women out there. So there'll be some that are saying, oh, well, he's not very attractive and this doesn't work for me. And that's very purposeful. You keep the wrong women out, the right women will come in over a long enough time span. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a whole lot of work, but you will succeed in the end. Because why would I want to attract everybody? Right? If I'm everybody's cup of tea, I stand for nothing. As opposed to like, this is who I am. This is what I'm all about. I'm in my masculine energy. This is what I can provide. This is what I can offer you. This is how I can be a complement and add value to your life. Either you see it, which is great because I've tried to tailor a list where if you can see the value, you're the woman that I want. If you don't see it, fantastic. I've just saved myself a bunch of problems, a nasty divorce, a nasty custody battle, and a whole bunch of problems that are going to end up on Twitter and some Instagram story of if he wanted to, he would. You can do that with somebody else, not me. I choose not to welcome that into my life, and every man chooses to or to not welcome that in.
And are you willing to, are you willing to be on your own for the rest of your life if it comes down to that and no woman ever compliments you? Are you willing to be on your own for the rest of your life and accept the fact that if a woman doesn't compliment you and is giving you unnecessary stress, and if that means that you have to be on your own and die alone, that you will die on that hill?
Again, you're looking at it from a bit of a scarcity mindset.
Again.
So you have to look at success and failure both leave clues, right? So all relationships do end, whether it's in death or separating. They're going to end eventually. So we all do end up alone to some degree at some point. You have to be okay accepting that, okay, I don't need her. I need somebody that embodies these characteristics. Not her, the characteristics. Because if you start pedestalizing her, you're going to start doing some things that are really going to welcome some problems in your life and you are fully in control of. So ending up alone, no. And if I am alone for a period of time, then I have some work to do because what I'm doing is not working. And that's self-reflection, that's self-accountability.
Last question.
We're men, we're fixers. Let's use it to our advantage. Use the right tool for the right job at the right time.
Right. Last question for you.
So I've got about a quarter of this coffee left.
If a man starts pedestalizing a woman, how can they get out of that?
You don't.
You don't.
You just got to start over. Because
it's already too far gone. You've
already set the parameter. Again, if I tell her...
There's no mental thing. There's no cognitive mindset switch that you could do to take her off that pedestal.
Women only go up. They don't go down. And if I've set the standard and then year 15, day one, I'm telling her it's going to be different, she's telling me to kick rocks. And again, I don't blame her. So you got to set that in the beginning. And if you pedestalize your woman, she's going to think that she runs the relationship and she can get away with whatever she wants. You have no power and no say. It's her house, not yours. Her relationship, not yours. That's how it's going to be. And again, I don't blame her. I would probably do the exact same thing if I was her, as opposed to you pull your socks up, have some accountability, be a man, and say, listen, I'm the man. I'm the captain of the ship. There is no second in command. There's only one driver's seat in the car. There's a passenger seat for a reason. Yes, I may be the CEO, but you are on the board of trusted advisors. Your opinion is very valued here. But ultimately, I make the decisions here, not you. And that's what women want intrinsically. Whether they want to admit it or not, they want a man that can lead and take them to the promised land.
What about like in the initial stages of like talking stage? Let's forget about living together and it's gotten to that point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like getting to know a woman. You guys are conversating, seeing each other.
I'll give you a perfect example. Date one. We're going to go for a coffee date, this place, this time. If your work schedule doesn't work with that, please give me the schedule and I will tell you a different time. Here's the dress code. Show up at this time. I'll see you then. Great leadership. I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, how it's going to be, all that. And if she doesn't comply with that, it's very simple. We're going for a coffee date. It's a $3 coffee, $6 if you want to go to Starbucks. I don't care. I like either. Coffee's coffee. Right? Yeah. There's varying degrees of flavors, how much coffee you want to taste. But if she can't comply with that, there's a great test. Or like on the dating apps, this is my rule. You get 5, maybe 10 messages, and I'm out. That's it. Here's my number. Let's set up a date. I'm not here to give you free attention and validation and text you, good morning, queen. You ever see that TikTok of that dude? He was messaging this one girl every day for like a year. He's like, day 264, I'm trying to be your boyfriend. Day 265.
Oh, no, man.
Like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
Move on. You got work to do, man.
That's next level. That is really like next level.
Right? Think about how many dudes you know with a messenger and no response. Oh, that's not a no. Just text her again. Well, she still didn't say no, so I'll text her again and just text her and text her and text her. Think of all that energy you could put somewhere else, as opposed to like women don't want to like reject you. That's a very masculine thing to do, rejection. So they'll ignore you. So read between the lines, be a man. All right. You're not interested? No problem. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope things go well with you. I hope you find what you're looking for. Talk to you later.
Going back to that example of you setting a time and place for the coffee, if she says, oh, let's instead of Blends go to Delaney's, and you comply with that, automatically you've put her on her pedestal.
It depends. Like if I said, let's go to Starbucks Waterfront, and she says, let's go to Starbucks in the Waterfront station, okay, fine. I don't care. Get off the SkyTrain, let's get a coffee. Problem, easy, not a problem. But if she's telling me, I live in Kitsilano, she lives in Port Coquitlam, we're going to Port Coquitlam Starbucks, no. I told you where we're going to go. You follow my lead. I get it. Maybe your schedule's busy. Give me a time where you can come down to this location-ish. Maybe we meet somewhere halfway, just depending on the situation, and we'll make it work. And if she can't follow that, then she's got to go. Because if she can't follow those instructions to be led for a coffee date, how are you going to lead her through a marriage or through a relationship, dude? How are you going to lead her through parenting? Like having kids? Good luck. You can just save yourself a whole bunch of nasty problems by just doing that right there.
And just right off that, bending over and going to Port Coquitlam sets the standard for the whole relationship or situationship or whatever comes after that.
Because now she just saw that I gave her a standard and I'm willing to bend on that. It's subconscious. It's not a conscious effort, but they despise weakness. Whether they've been programmed to or not, they all hate it. And so wouldn't it just be easier to just say, we're going to go meet at this place, this time, this location, let's go for a coffee date. Let's see how it goes.
And if you had 10 women here and they all said that they disagree with everything you said, you would say, well, you don't even realize that you want that type of thing. Subconsciously, you don't even, because it's not a conscious thing. They say, oh, well, no, Travis, you're wrong. Well, you would say, well, you don't know because it's a subconscious thing. You don't even realize.
Well, I might be wrong, but are you the type of woman that I'm trying to attract? Do you check those boxes of what I'm looking for? If the answer is no, then I'm going to disregard your opinion because you're not the type of woman I'm trying to attract.
Because it's not up to you to make them realize. It's not up to you to make them understand how they're thinking or.
Because women pick the winners, right? Like women are the choosers. They choose the men. Now, ultimately, you do need to pick a woman that picks you to be successful, but the women are the deciders. So if this formula, if I try it 2,000 times and not a single date happens, we got some self-reflecting to do. So, something is not right. Either I'm ugly or I'm not in good enough shape. I don't dress very well. I'm not captivating. I'm not funny. Or maybe I'm just attracting the wrong woman. Like there has to be some accountability there to make that work. Like, do you see where I'm going with that? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm very purposefully trying not to be. Again, you repel the wrong people for the right period of time. You'll invite the right people in. You want me to do the coffee story that I was telling you in the car?
Please.
So here's another interesting compliance test, right? Like again, a woman falls in love with a man doing things for him. So like if she wants to make you a cup of coffee, or bring you, I got you these like turkey socks for Thanksgiving because I thought they were cool and they look cute on you. Like she's thinking of you. Like women fall in love doing things for you. And I'm not saying that in a transactional sense of like, give me $100. I'm just saying like little small things like that is how a woman falls in love with you. Like I had a woman I dated for a period of time back in Winnipeg. Anytime I go away for a couple days for business, I'd come back because she had a key to my apartment. The place would be spotless. Floors mopped and Swiffered, bathroom clean, toilet scrubbed. I didn't ask her. She would just do it. And I asked her why. She said,
you weren't expecting her to do that.
I never asked. I never expected it. She would just say, I wanted you to come back to a clean apartment. I thought you deserved that because of how good you treat me and how you do this. Great. Or this other woman that I dated recently. Every day, whenever we would wake up, within 5 minutes, the bed was made. On the spot, all the foo-foo-y pillows, everything always made at my place. I never had to ask. I never said anything. It would always be made. Another example, too. That same woman, she came over to my place one time, and she instantly went to the kitchen and started doing my dishes and put them in the dishwasher. And I said to her, why are you doing my dishes? And she said, well, I'm not doing the dishes. I said, well, what are you doing? She said, I'm putting them in the dishwasher. I said, you're doing the dishes. You're not my maid. You're my woman. You don't need to do my dishes. I'll take care of them later. Let's have a fun night. Let's have our plans. Well, I just want to, and I had to stop her and say, put the dishes down. I closed the dishwasher. That's enough. I get it. You're trying to be a compliment to my life. No dishes right now. Let's have a good night. But that's a perfect example of she's doing things for me and she's falling in love with me, right? That's how women fall in love, when they do stuff for you. And to bring back to the story that I was telling you in the car before we got here, this one woman I dated, and I got a couple of little avenues to take this down. So we're living here together in Vancouver. I'm born and raised in Winnipeg. And so I flew her to Winnipeg in January to meet my mom. And so she comes in, hi, very nice to meet you. First thing she did, went into the kitchen, started doing dishes by hand at my mom's place, despite the actual dishwasher was 2 feet away from her. And my mom says, oh, what a nice woman. I said, yeah, that's pretty nice. I haven't seen that. It's pretty cool. Fast forward to us living together. She would pick fights with me about, well, I've done the dishes 7 times this week, and you've only done them 6 times. So you got to do the dishes 2 more times to even it up. I said, have you forgotten about the big mountain of dishes you leave first in the morning before you go to work, that I put them away so that you have a clean kitchen to come home to after work and that I can work in peace? Well, that doesn't count. Are we seriously going to play that game and have a pissing contest over loading the dish? We're not scrubbing dishes by hand. I want to be very clear. This isn't by hand. Putting the dishes in the dishwasher. Right. So we're having this fight in this WW3 over the dishwasher, of all things. Fast forward to July. She comes to see my mom again. First thing she does, goes in the kitchen and starts washing dishes again by hand. My mom says, wow, she loves helping out. She's so feminine doing dishes. After I just got screamed at 2 weeks ago for doing the dishes in the dishwasher 6 times, and she did them 7. So there's an example of her picking fights over dumb shit that's going to tell me the end of the relationship is coming. Another example, I asked her a couple times, hey, I'm coming home from the gym or whatever. Would you mind making me a cup of coffee? I'm not doing nothing for no man. I'm not making you a cup of coffee. Jeez. All right. Whatever. She ended up messing up one time. And so I texted her on the way home from the gym. Hey, mind making me a cup of coffee, babe? I'll be home in about 20 minutes. You just make the best coffee. Nobody makes it as good as you. She didn't make a very good cup of coffee, but I just wanted to tell her that to give her some compliments and see what she does. I came home. Here's your cup of coffee. Waiting on the table. I took 1 sip out of it. That was it. I just let it sit there. Just to prove a point.
How did she feel about that?
I don't think she realized it. But it's interesting though, right? Like, I've selected a woman there that's being an incredibly chaotic problem to my life. She's fighting me on a cup of coffee and doing the dishes 6 times versus 7. She even picked a fight with me over you're using too much of the toothpaste. It's a $3 tube of toothpaste. I'll buy more. I'll buy a Costco bulk pack if you want. I don't care. I don't care how much of toothpaste I use. Why are we picking fights over this? If she's going to fight me on that, imagine if we had kids together, what she's going to fight me on.
Right. Some people don't see that. They'll probably listen to that and be like, well, Travis, you're being unreasonable. You're being too much. You're overreacting. But that's not the point.
It's not
like you said, when you do have kids, then it becomes a higher scale, higher stakes.
It's not about the toothpaste. It's about her actions. Don't listen to what she says. Watch what she does. Her actions will tell you what's coming up down the pipeline. And you can see that in the beginning.
And what do those actions show you?
In that case specifically? Well, so I'll use this as an example. We had conversations multiple times about fast food. I don't consume fast food. If you want to call Starbucks fast food, okay, I consume Starbucks. Outside of that, I don't eat fast food at fast food chains. And my kids are not going to have fast food. We have food in the fridge. We make healthy meals. If you don't, again, they don't know what they don't know. If they don't try McDonald's, they're not going to love McDonald's. They're not going to get fat and always want to go to McDonald's all the time because that's not healthy. I'm not going to have obese kids, right? You don't have to be 6-pack ab jacked. You have to be reasonably looking and in good shape, right? That's the standard that I have. And she would argue with me all the time. You're body shaming them. It's okay for them to go to McDonald's and have a treat and put on a little bit of weight. I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to have a bowling ball for a kid. Like, the kid's not going to have McDonald's 6-7 days a week. And then when they're guzzling 2-liter cans of Coke or jugs of Coca-Cola, you're going to tell me it's healthy. It's body positivity. No, put the Coke down, drink some water. Put the burger down. We have food and broccoli in the fridge. It's fine. But again, if she's fighting me on the toothpaste at $3, imagine us parenting together. And I set that standard and I welcome that into my life. So instead, I'm going to pick a woman who says, yeah, you're right. We are going to make good, nutritious choices for our kids. We're going to set them up for success. They're not going to be a part of the 40-50% of people in North America that are obese and overweight. They're going to be in good shape. They're going to get good nutrition. They're going to have a good, healthy lifestyle so they can be successful when they go to school, when they go to university, when they go into the real, whatever you want to do, you're going to be set up for success because your nutrition fuels all that. So why would I feed them shit? I wouldn't. I get it every now and then. In the words of Kid Rock, everything in moderation, including moderation. You can have a nice little treat. But we're not having fast food all the time. It's not happening in this household. Again, I'm the man of the household. I set that standard, that parameter. And I choose to allow her to bend me over and change that.
And it all starts from a little piece of toothpaste and dishwashers. Yeah.
Way before that.
Way before that.
If you're looking for it, you will find it. If you're not experienced, you'll see that and be like, well, I guess I'm being unreasonable. I guess I could use a little bit less toothpaste. Wait till that nasty divorce comes down the pipeline. She's taking the kids in the house and taking everything and wrecking your life. All because you decided, oh, I'll use a little bit less toothpaste, baby.
Writings on the wall, man. It's crazy. It really is.
It's so interesting, though, right?
It is.
Like, these aren't things that your dad tells you. Like, my dad never taught me this. These are all things that I had to learn firsthand and say, ow, I stepped on my crank. That hurt. That sucked. Well, I guess we got to learn the hard way now. Got to have some accountability. Why did this happen? Well, my fault. Happened for me. God has given me an answer right here that I have to look at and say, it's time to grow.
And that's all a conscious decision.
You choose that. You can choose to be a victim and saying, well, I'm better than this guy. And yeah, he plays in the NBA, but this, but that. And you choose to grow or to not, dude. It sucks and it hurts and it's hard, but it's good. Great adversity is great growth, great character development.
Man, let's end it on that.
Want to talk about the podcast or the TikTok clip? Any thoughts on that before we cap off?
Yeah, I mean, that clip,
Man,
it went crazy.
who is he and what is he to you? Man, who is he and what